Okay, alright, I admit it. I talk about Marvel a lot. Well, specifically Spider-Man, but if Spider-Man is the Mickey Mouse to, Disney's Disney, well, then I guess this is just the life we live now. Welcome to The Critique, where we watch some animated goodies and determine whether we should tune in or tune out. I'm Song, your resident Cartoon Connoisseur, and this is Justice League Action. Did I mention that? We're doing DC now. Usually I do some research about the shows I watch and summarize my findings here, but for some reason I'm having a hard time finding much on production history, so I'll just drop a direct quote here. Justice League Action premiered on Cartoon Network UK on November 26, 2016, and on Cartoon Network in the USA on December 16, 2016. Quoth everyone. And that's all I could find besides like, Warner Bros. Made it. I did look up reviews though, on account of I couldn't find this section on Critical Acclaim anywhere, and 8 out of 10 IMDb commenters enjoyed this show, so that counts for something, I'm sure. Let's just dive in. Ugh. I need a good theme song again, please. This one is so generic. Okay, yes, I can clearly tell based on the music alone that this is a superhero show, cool. But this sounds like every superhero show. All of them. I remember talking about how Voltron's theme had a similar issue, but I can't say that I like this better than that, if I had to choose. Of course, one thing I can say was better in the Voltron one was the visual sequence. All you get here is the characters moving across the screen. Seriously, it looks like someone went into MS Paint or something and pasted a render of the characters, then took their mouse and dragged it across the screen. Maybe the PNG images are actually GIFs, if you're lucky. And then you get a shot of the watchtower. Neat. It's boring and doesn't give me anything to remember, and honestly, it makes me worry about the contents of the show. This show has an art style that I can describe as simplistic and inconsistent. I got used to it pretty fast. It's definitely new, but I have no real issues with it at all. Action is actiony, and the movements are nothing groundbreaking. It's not the greatest animation in the world, but it's serviceable. In fact, I honestly forgot the art style had even changed from the days of Unlimited and Young Justice to a point. I mean, obviously it's different, but eventually I stopped noticing. That's until I see the likes of Wonder Woman, or especially Martian Manhunter, who looks out of place even in the context of the art style. Also, it bothers me that Superman doesn't have whites to his eyes when everyone else seems to. I think it's supposed to be a nod to the way Superman has looked in the past, but to me it just doesn't seem consistent. Of course, if you ask me, the voice acting makes it all better. The VAs are excellent, and many of them are very familiar with their roles, such as Mark Hamill as the Joker and Tara Strong as Harley Quinn. And the voice acting performances are only boosted by the show's writing, which I think, while simple, is pretty good, and I got some laughs out of the parts that are supposed to be funny.
Green Arrow. That takes a long time to say. Have you considered shortening it?
To what? Just Arrow? I don't think so.
So, you know, that's a good sign. The world is immersive and continues to grow with each passing episode, and despite some inconsistencies, I like how everything is nicely presented. Right, so this show does not have what one would call a plot. At least, not one that encompasses the show. This is more of an anthology series where each episode tells its own story and everything stays contained while keeping continuity intact. This works in its favor, of course, since there are a lot of characters, but I'll get into that part later. For the most part, this means if you catch a random episode on TV one day, you can enjoy it for what it is by itself. Too bad that'll never happen because Cartoon Network doesn't know what to do. The individual stories are told pretty well too, and it's amazing to me how they can fit a whole little arc into just 11 minutes of runtime and still have it feel complete. Stories are kept relatively simple, and once there is an objective, the program keeps focus on it until the credits roll. That said, sometimes an episode could benefit from a full 22 minutes to allow for more character development, but those are pretty uncommon in my opinion. A personal favorite episode of mine is the one where Batman got to hang out with Booster Gold all day because time broke. It does that sometimes. Remember that thing I said about this show having a ton of characters? I said something similar in my last critique on Ultimate Spider-Man. In that video, I said it was a problem because the show ended up forgetting it was supposed to be about Spider-Man. This is not the case for JLA. Justice League Action doesn't give me a main character to focus on throughout the series. Instead, the members of the League take turns being the main character because sharing is caring. Of course, you've got Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman as the big three, but then you have other Leaguers like Shazam, Swamp Thing, Plastic Man, Stargirl, and Booster Gold. Of course, none of them hold the title of Best Character. Let me tell you guys about the best character. None other than, that's right, Space Cabbie. Space Cabbie is top tier. You may think I'm joking around right now, but no, I'm not. Cabbie's the best. He's just a random guy with a random space taxi, driving around random people to where they need to go because he loves and is dedicated to his job and nothing else. But wait, his story goes deeper. His sense of justice is strong. If he noticed that crime is afoot, do you think he's just gonna call the Justice League to let them handle it? Well, yes, he does do that. But then he deals with the problem himself while they're on their way. But he's also not, like, dumb about it. He knows his limits and doesn't do anything needlessly risky, and I can respect that. The man took down Darkseid, indirectly. This is a thing that is brought up multiple times, to the point where the Justice League now respects him enough to call him every so often if they need help with a mission. What a true hero.
Me bring greatest mind in entire galaxy to stop you. Me bring... Space Cabbie!
Now, the heroes mean nothing without their villains, and I think they're done justice here. Except Lex Luthor. It might just be me, but he doesn't really give me that whole super genius, conniving, president of the world vibe that he's generally supposed to have. Not to say it isn't there, I just don't think it's there enough. Still, the villainous encounters present their stakes well done, and they don't really feel rushed to me, even though episodes are short. I think this is due to the fact that the show doesn't cram too much into one episode. Since a single episode only has to tell a single story, not every character needs to appear in every episode, and the show knows and respects this. Side note, unrelated, the Superman Wonder Woman ship JLA's got going on is weird, and I don't really think I'm a fan. Just saying. Overall, this is another show about more superheroes and their teams, but it's one that I think is pretty enjoyable. As someone who grew up with Justice League Unlimited, I honestly felt right at home with JLA. It's funny and action-packed, with neat characters and small stories that are easy to get into. For these reasons, I recommend tuning into Justice League Action. But hey, that's just me. What do you think about the show? Let me know in the comments below. Also, don't be afraid to give me suggestions on what I should watch next. If you like this video, please leave a like and help me get to 100 subs by subscribing and sharing with your friends. Now, I'm gonna go have a good time today, and I hope you do too. Thanks for watching!